Alrighty, so welcome everyone again back to our channel. We have, of course, our fabulous guest star, Dr. Dimitro Klokol, and today he's got very interesting things to share with us. Let's start off first by talking about your personal journey at the recent WFF NABA event, which I believe you took part in last Saturday, right?
Right. Yeah, it's been almost a week since that happened. A really incredible journey. And then, first of all, thanks again. You know, it's wonderful studio here in European Wellness. Thanks for arranging this little talk. And I hope it's going to be interesting for everyone. And yeah, it has been really an incredible journey. Well, it depends from which point you can actually start looking at it. What was the starting point? The actual preparation took about 8 months.
Wow.
Yeah, 8 months of intensive focus program preparation for the event specifically. It should have been a bit shorter because the event was postponed twice. Initially it was planned in May, then it was planned in August, and because of the pandemic, lockdown, MCO, it has been postponed, and the final date was on the 4th of December. So I was partially ready for May, but the conditioning definitely was not that great. Then I was preparing for August. It didn't happen in August, so we just replaced that with a photo shoot session. And the conditioning was more or less all right, okay, but definitely can't be compared to the conditioning that I've achieved on the day of the event. And it has been an absolutely incredible journey. First time in my life, you know, when I really had to go all those 9 miles, you know, the 9 yards.
With the bronzing and then the
dehydration. That was the very last drop, you know, but the dieting, which I gotta confess that in the initial stage it was quite challenging. I was very hungry, I was very frustrated, and that was going on for weeks and weeks and weeks. But the good news and the great message and the great news and a very powerful encouragement to everyone who would like to step on the journey of the self-transformation, on the journey of longevity and wellness, is that it's very difficult in the beginning. The more you go into the process, the more you go into that regime, the more you sort of submit yourself to all the aspects of the protocol and the lifestyle, and you do not deviate, and you stop doing the yo-yo diet. Yeah, so
start, stop.
Yes. So when you don't cheat, you know, when you're absolutely focused, trust me, within quite relatively a short period of time, you sort of you get in the groove. Okay, and the last few weeks, and I would say about 8 to 10 weeks. Yeah, so it's considered like over 2 months. I was absolutely comfortable with increasing caloric deficit, gradually increasing caloric deficit. I absolutely had no cravings, and I felt, well, of course, perhaps not that jacked and not that super energetic, you know, but I was able to work, and I was able to work without compromising on the quality and the time of my work, you know. And I was able to do cardio and progressively increase cardio, and I was able to do a very heavy physical workout and enjoy other aspects of life, you know, just live a normal life. So it's only difficult in the beginning, but the more you stay on that path, the easier it becomes. And I gotta tell you guys that I came to the point that the last 8 weeks there were absolutely no cheat meals, and I had no cravings for the cheat meal.
Wow.
I was absolutely in the groove. I was comfortable with that, and actually I realized that I can go on like that even after the event.
So it's become more like a lifestyle.
It absolutely became a lifestyle. I'm absolutely adapted to the caloric restriction, and the last 2-3 weeks, the caloric restriction was very high. The last week, the so-called peak week, it's about 800 calories a day. That's what I was assessing, and still was able to survive with that. Of course, sometimes you might have episodes of lethargy, a bit weak and all, but it's all manageable, yeah? And then again, that was for a specific reason, but if just for the health, longevity and all, you don't have to go that extreme. Yeah, because I was also cutting the amount of salt about 24-36 hours before the event, you know, because that's a specific protocol which is applicable for the bodybuilding tournament competition, you know, when you produce something like you deplete yourself completely, you deplete yourself. First of all, of course, you gotta be shredded as much as possible.
Then you can see it right there.
So yeah, I've reached the lowest body fat in my life. The in-body test was showing 4.4%, but actually it was about between 8 to 9%.
Okay.
So I had quite all the striations, I had six packs and all, everything was well, you know, the legs, all the quads, you know, everything was quite visible. And plus with reduction of salt and then reduction of practically very, very minimum fluid intake 24 hours before the intake, so before the event, so you become very dry, you know, so of course the appearance is great. However, you feel horrible.
Yeah, I can imagine, because your body's just crying out and it's like, no water and nothing moving.
Exactly. And then so you sort of get shredded, and then the idea is that you deplete your muscles and your liver and your muscle from the glycogen storage. Okay, so you practically go on either zero or very low carb intake. You burn out all the storages of glycogen. Okay, and then you deplete yourself with the salt and water, and then just before the event you start eating carbs, and sort of it's a loading phase. Okay, and from the point of view of physiology or the physiology of sports and all, it's called the stage or phase of supercompensation. So you're sort of trying to cheat your body and cheat your muscles, and when the muscles were depleted and suddenly you give carbs, just the clean carbs, you know, I was just eating the pure dry basmati rice, just boiled rice, no salt, no spice, no nothing.
Starch.
Yeah, and well, it's a good carb anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, and unsalted rice cakes.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's it. A little bit of jam, you know, just 3 hours before the stage, and so that you feel a bit more energetic, and you refill your muscles, and you have energy to go and flex, you know, because otherwise you would not even be able to flex, you know. And then I gotta tell you, know, when we come back to the men's room, you know, and where we're changing and preparing and all, everyone is super exhausted there, you know, because it's really you feel like you have done a very intensive, heavy workout, you know, while you're there, because you have constantly flex, and then you're not flexing in front of the mirror anymore. So you sort of gotta imagine, you know, you need to have that very good mind-muscle connection, so that you know that all your muscles are on, and also
and you're showing them correctly. Because I think, because I was at the competition as well, and you know, I remember like the judges were in a row, and then you know, you had to turn quarter left, quarter right, 45 degrees, you know, and literally showing every aspect of muscle definition, right? From front to the side to the back profiles, you know. So I'm really curious, like, because there are a lot of, even like my personal friends who are fitness enthusiasts, you know, like they love being fit, you know, and of course, you know, the muscles are there. But what would make like a fitness enthusiast cross over into like really becoming a serious, or rather in this case, even an amateur, not to start off with, a bodybuilder, before they become like a real full-blown type?
Well, it might be different. There might be different reasons for different people. The reason why I've done this to myself primarily is because I want to show that I practice what I preach.
That's very important.
And that was point number one, number two, and number three. You know, this is the main reason why I've done that. Because if we rewind, you know, this whole process back in time and just go a few years back when I was in the mid-30s, or just crossed mid-30s towards being 36, 37 years old, and I've developed age-related conditions, which came in a very subtle way. Now I understand that the whole sort of cause of that, the underlying cause was aging of my endocrine system and the hormonal deterioration. So I had a hormonal decline, that every male start having from the age of 30 to 32 years old, you produce less testosterone. But because it happens in a very subtle way and you get adapted to that, you sort of don't really notice it. Those drastic changes. But from the guy who was 130 kilogram, I don't even know what was my body fat percentage. I believe like about 35-40%. With the entire arsenal, practically, I would have said that there's not a single therapeutic or wellness modality which is practiced now in the European wellness retreats and centers, which I have not done or tried on myself. Yes, and I've implemented 100% programmatic approach on myself. So it was not just picking few things; it was a system, absolute system, a full-on dive into the program, and that program had a specific sequence, so first of all, of course, you just start correcting your lifestyle, and also I've done that, and from 130 kilogram of weight, I was managed to drop to 94 kilogram. That was
quite a drastic
few years ago, about 2 to 3 years ago, I was already at 94 kilogram of weight. So you can say that it's about 35, 36 kilos of fat loss. After that, I've adjusted the protocol that I was on, and I gained weight. I've reached about 105, 106 kilogram.
And back.
To gain back, but the gains were mostly muscle, so I gained about at least 7 to 8 kilogram of muscle.
Nice.
And of course there was a bit of water retention and all. Definitely, when you gain muscle, it happens. And once I reached 106 kilogram, I've changed the program again, so it was towards the cutting. So I managed to cut another 11 kilogram of weight. Okay, you see, my specific goal for the morning of the event, was 95 kilogram. Because for a very long time, I was sort of stumbled, at 98, 97 kilo. If I try to push it harder, I was reducing that to like 96.
But you could never hit 95.
And I was planning that my goal is 95. On the day of the event, my goal is 95 kilograms. That I thought that would be optimal for me. And I was telling myself that that's quite a daring target, quite a daring goal. I'm not sure when I can achieve it, but even if I'm 96, 97, it's okay. So I was 95, the event was on Saturday. Friday morning, the day before, I usually weigh myself. The correct way of weighing yourself is when you wake up in the morning, you just go to the toilet, you pass urine, and then before drinking water, you weigh yourself. So that is the actual weight that you sort of have to monitor and follow that particular timing. So I was 95 kilogram on Friday early morning, and I was 93.2 kilogram on Saturday early morning. So I managed to cut 2 more kilo, and of course that was mostly water. I got rid of the water, another 2 kilogram within 24 hours. So I consider that I have definitely over-accomplished all the goals. Is point number 1. Point number 2, I got absolute proof and evidence, and it's a documented evidence because everything is documented with photography.
The weighing in and all that.
Even the reading of the weighing scales, the gauge there that shows what's the weight. The entire weight loss and body recomposition journey is documented by the in-body test that was done regularly, so I can see my body weight, my BMI. I can see the amount of the fat-free mass that was gradually increasing. The amount of the lean muscle mass was gradually increasing until I reached the point of 153% of the lean muscle mass to my sort of norm, to my expected norm according to the age and my height and body weight. And I managed to push down as much body fat as possible and reduce unnecessary water, although I was still very well hydrated. Okay, I was not dehydrated, and the body scan was showing that I'm actually at the top or slightly even above of all the normal parameters. I had absolutely no electrolyte disorders. I had no cramps, no nothing during the flexing and all, during the event, which it happens, you know, because sometimes when you deplete yourself, you might have electrolyte disorder. I had none of it. I'm very happy about it. And it's the most importantly, I've proven to myself, you know, because it's very important to get your own experience. It encourages you. You know, nothing encourages you and nothing gives you...
You see it yourself.
Exactly, exactly. Nothing gives you that much of assurance that you are on the right track, that you're not doing things wrong, rather than the personal experience. Because as everyone on every journey, I had doubts.
Yeah, whether you can do it, whether you can follow through, right? You can get to start it. I think, which is a very good question. Can I ask how old are you this year?
Yeah, I'm turning 43. So
43.
Yes.
Yeah. So why I'm asking these questions, because I think a lot of times when we, right, like people in their mid-30s and 40s, even up to the 50s, when you reach a certain age, you realize, you know what, I'm already at this age. I don't feel a need to have to change the way I look, or I don't feel like, it's possible for me to lose weight anymore because, I'm already like that. And so again, 43, and he's thinking, I want to take part in a bodybuilding competition. It's really interesting because a lot of times people want to do that change, right? But, like you said, it's like a yo-yo diet. I do a little bit of this, I go on YouTube, I sort of learn, from one or two gurus, and then I try it out, didn't work for me, or maybe, they might get a backlash because maybe they didn't do it properly based on, maybe no parameters were set, no testing was done with devices earlier, so they can't really monitor. So they can say things like, I kind of feel better, but I don't know empirically whether or not there's been any positive change on the body, right? So this is a good point actually at 43, and then you mentioned a lot about the testing. So maybe you could share with us, like, what are some of the tests that you did that maybe, let's say, for example, let's say if I want to do it, but I don't intend to, let's say, go into a bodybuilding competition, but just for, let's say, weight loss, or just because I want to maybe increase lean muscle mass. So what sort of testing would I need to do? And like, what is the process of it? Maybe you can just sort of walk us through some of that, like just a general idea.
Right. Well, first of all, anyone who steps on this journey, or any other plan or any other program, whatever you want to do, you have to envision what is the goal, what are you trying to achieve, and it should be somehow quantitative. Okay, it should be quantitative. So looking at the BMI, it's not really optimal, especially if you're an athlete. It doesn't matter, professional or recreational, amateur, and all. It's just not really applicable. But the body composition is very, very important. There are devices like similar. You can do the DEXA scan, or you can do the in-body scan. I personally use the in-body scan. Even though it might not be 100% accurate, just few percents of
plus minus.
Plus minus, but it doesn't matter because you look at the trend. Yeah, you look at whether the numbers, certain numbers which are supposed to decrease, reduce, like the body fat, they're really reducing, and whether you are able to increase the lean body mass, or the so-called fat-free mass. Okay, that's one of the tests. Then, of course, there are tests that can assess your body fat level just by measuring your subcutaneous fat, or the skin fold at a specific areas, like the anterior abdominal and anterolateral abdomen, on the chest, on the back.
The love handle areas.
Well, it is a bit higher up here, and then on the chest, and then on the back, and also, and of course there are, especially as you age, there are stubborn areas, the love handles, as you have mentioned. That will be the last place where which you're gonna lose, and even though you might lose fat there, the water will stay there. You know, that's,
I can't get rid of it. I've been trying for years.
The water is that real nasty thing, you know, because what actually is happening sometimes is that when you getting more and more shredded, the water retention and accumulation of water is becoming more obvious. You know, so sort of you look at yourself and like, I'm losing weight, you know, but still, why is it still
hanging there?
Still hanging there, you know. So the thing is, another very, very valuable advice is that never, ever, ever do it alone. There's no DIY here. Forget about DIY. It's impossible. Any attempt to DIY in 99.999% will bring you to trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, it's either you're gonna hurt yourself, you're gonna damage yourself reversibly or irreversibly, or it's just not optimal. You're not gonna get the effect that you want to get, you know, and because you gotta understand, no matter how experienced you are, no matter how well trained or knowledgeable you are, you can be a trainer yourself, you can coach other people, you can be a health guru, you can be a medical professional, you can be a professional athlete, but you still need assistance, you still need a coach, you still need healthcare experts, fitness experts, you know, because you gotta understand that your mind will play tricks with you, and different tricks at different points. The way how you look at yourself and the way how you perceive yourself and the goals, intermediate goals, it might not be accurate. So you need a third eye, you know, somebody who will look at you from the outside and he will tell you, yes, you are on the right track, or you are a bit delayed, or you're a bit off, or you are a bit rushing, and also the support of your environment and the support of the people, the experts who really know what is happening and they've been on the journey, and they also sort of helped other people on this journey is very, very important. You know, because few weeks out, even a couple of months out, you know, you look at yourself in the mirror and you're not happy, or shall I do this, shall I do that, you know, and the person who helped me a lot, you know, whom I consider being my coach on that journey, you know, the Mr. Kumareswaran, you know, he was telling me, he said, just don't worry, you know, you have to relax and you have to trust the process. Okay, so this is one of the key points and messages. Choose the path that you want to step on, envision the goal where you want to reach. Have some kind of estimation, I would say a realistic estimation of time, you know, within what duration of time you're going to reach that specific goal. Okay, so that you go gradually towards it. You don't burn yourself out, you don't over diet, you don't overtrain, you don't hurt yourself, and also in the same time you're not delaying the process. Okay, so envision it and then get on the journey, and as much as possible try not to rock the boat, try not to deviate, stick to that. Please remember that if you feel that it's difficult, if you feel that letting go of some habits or some usual stuff that you are doing is extremely difficult and impossible for you, trust me, all shall pass. All shall pass. Your frustration will pass, you know, your frustration will be replaced with immense joy and satisfaction from the result. The sufferings will get less and less and less. The craving for sugar, for peanut butter or chocolate, you know, the desire just to make a sandwich with kaya, perhaps, you know, some butter or whatever.
Butter jelly.
All shall pass. You know, absolutely. And so you need to have somebody who is standing next to you, side by side, to guide you and to encourage you, also morally, spiritually, to give you advice and prevent you from harming yourself. And you have to be clear in your mind, you know, so it's your mind and spirit first, and that will guide your body, you know, it will take you on a very long journey, same as me, you know. So I assume that in the end it was not even 37 kilograms that I've lost over these years. It's actually the very modest estimate is 40 kilograms, but I believe slightly even more. But okay, let's just stay at 40 kilo of fat. And imagine, let's do a simple maths. Arithmetics. 40 kilograms of fat. 1 kilogram of fat is equivalent to 7,000 calories.
Oh wow.
Okay. So 7 times 4 is 20. No, say all together 40 kilogram of weight, equivalent to about 250. Let's round up, 250,000 calories.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so to lose that 40 kilogram, you have to spend more than you intake, right? More than you consume, and the expenditures of your calories of energy, in this case, is equivalent to 250,000 calories. Okay, so you have 250,000 calories. Let's continue doing mathematics. Within what duration of time you want to lose that amount of fat? Say if you want to complete that in 4 years, so you just divide, say 250 divide by 4 or 5, you know, it can be like 50, 60, 70,000 calories. If you want to lose that weight in 2 years, so you have to tell yourself that, well, I have to program myself on being a deficit of about, say, 120 or 125,000 calories in a year. Is that possible? We have 12 months in a year, so it means that, what about 12, 10,000 calories per month? It's doable.
Correct.
It's more than doable.
When you break it down this way, I think that's a good part about it. Making it mathematical makes it people, you know, clear. Like, okay, so this is my target. I work backwards, and then I see whether I can make it bite-sized, because then it doesn't become so scary. You know, like I need to lose 40 kilos in 1 year. Like, what are you gonna do? Liposuction, you know, or something that maybe might be quite harmful for your health. You know, when you want to do like drastic weight loss, you know, in short periods, again, without having experts there. You know, that's why sometimes when we see some of our friends, you know, who suddenly just lose weight, right? The skin just hangs off the body. It look really haggard. And then we get worried for them because there's probably internal organ damage, you know, because of that
everything is possible. That's why, apart from the body composition test, because you need to monitor the process of body recompositioning, you need to monitor your general health. For that is a blood work, and there is a specific panel. The panel that European Wellness uses in its practice all over the world. It's way more and more holistic than the general GP or just a regular medical checkup, because we look at well, even the vitamin D serum level, you know, the homocysteine, a very deep, profound hormonal profile. You know, you need to look at the LH, FSH, all the pituitary hormones. You need to assess the thyroid function, you know, because this is all very important. You know, you need to make sure that your metabolism is not reducing. Try to use as, you know, just a bit simpler words, you know, so that
less technical and more
less technical, you know, because you guys have to understand that when you are going through the weight loss and when you're going through the caloric deficit, your BMR, the base metabolic rate, will also reduce. Your ability, the so-called non-activity thermogenesis, the ability to burn fat when you're not doing anything with it. You just rested on the sofa and the only muscle is working is your thumb pressing the remote, you have to change the...
Or your phone scrolling.
Or scroll the phone, or to change the channels or to choose another movie on the Netflix, you know. Or when you work, your brain is consuming a lot of energy, you know, so everything has to be taken into consideration, because your BMR, your metabolism will reduce. You know, so there are formulas and there's actual calculation how to calculate it correctly, because when you're a bit fatter, put it this way, and your caloric intake is a bit higher, your ability, your BMR, your metabolism is also higher, you know, but when you go into that deficit, the metabolism is less. So you have to understand that you might, the intensity at which you burn fat might also reduce, you know, so everything has to be adjusted. It's an extremely dynamic process.
Nice.
Okay, that's why you need an expert who will stand by your side. The blood work is extremely important, because being on the weight loss, being on the specific diet, sometimes may have also possible adverse effects, you know, plus we all have conditions, right? Whether or some preconditions, right?
And the genetics, you know,
or we have the genetics, we have the lifestyle, and we have the environment and other pollutants, and also the food, whatever, air, you know, that we are in, and other conditions. Like I started with my blood sugar level years ago. It was over 6.5, 6.6 HbA1c, and now I'm at 4.2, 4.5. You know, it's absolutely perfect. You know, sometimes there can be changes when you go through certain transitions. You know, your lipids might increase. You know, so everything has to be in check all the time, dynamically. Your hormonal profile can go up and down when you go on that cutting phase, and all, your thyroid function may also reduce. So at this point, it's very, very important that none of these changes, none of these details are missed, and they have to be addressed not after they already happened,
but before.
But before. You have to predict all of that. That's why, again, you need an expert, you know, a medical expert who will, in this case, I was that expert for myself, you know, so I was foreseeing that, and I knew already that this and that might happen. So the necessary supplementation comes in. And it's not really difficult, you know, you have to supplement yourself with iodine, for instance, at a specific dose, make sure that your thyroid function is fine. You need to supplement yourself with good fatty acids, the omega-3, at a specific dose. And then depending on what is your intake of other types of fats, the saturated fat and all, because it's not only about the calories. Yeah, I have a very strict breakdown of the macros. What is the amount, how many grams of carbohydrates I eat at a specific meal, how much fats, how much carbs, and I know what type of fats, saturated, unsaturated, polyunsaturated, and so on and so forth. Everything is calculated. Then you have to think of the ratios. Okay, so if specific fats are absent in your macronutrients in your food, then you have to add on supplementation with say omega-3, and then also you need to provide support for cardiovascular system, things like the coenzymes Q10 and so on and so forth, you know, so things that will help to, and supplements that will help to balance cholesterol, you know, it's very, very important. Plus, you have to think, are you going sometimes into ketosis, you know, so if you're reducing the carb intake, you see intermittent fasting and caloric restriction are one of the therapeutic strategies, especially for people with metabolic syndrome, with diabetes, with chronic heart disease, and also those things help to improve overall the condition, but also it might carry certain risks, like you are a bit towards the ketosis, you know, a shift towards the acidity, that might carry additional damage to the kidney, especially if you are on a very high protein intake diet in the same time, you know, like for me, for instance, I went up to 3 grams of protein per kilogram of weight, which is very high.
Wow.
Usually it's about from 1 to 2 grams, you know, so when you go that high, it might be not so great for the kidney function, you know, so you need to introduce other supplements or different modalities which will help you to protect from the kidney injury. And you monitor it constantly, regularly with the blood work. And of course, with the way how you feel and with your performance, you pay attention to details. So as long as everything is done, I'm actually thinking of making a short video. I have these 2 boxes. Yeah, the boxes are about this size and then ×2.
Okay.
And
what's in there?
my supplements.
Ah, so you're gonna give us like a glimpse of what's inside your boxes.
Perhaps, yeah, I'm gonna do this one of the days.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, and another great news is that we have formulated for European wellness with the MF3 and the MF Plus, you know, we formulate and the LaboreMS. We formulated a number of supplements that will ease your life tremendously.
Awesome. Tell us more.
Because what I was doing for years and years and years is that I would choose the necessary substances, the necessary supplements and all, and would consume that. But if you've seen the pictures, you know, sometimes it's a handful of
yes, I've seen. I've been stalking you on Instagram, so I see, you know, like your meal preps.
Yes.
You know, the behind the scenes, like like handfuls.
That's
a lot.
Capsules and salt gels.
Colors.
Yeah, and then just pop into the mouth and drink.
I was going to ask you, how do you do it? Like, I'm taking half of that for my normal supplementation, and I'm already like, you know, so tedious.
Well, now there are easier options. Both MF3 and LaboreMS, they have 2 wonderful things. One is called Performance Formula, another one is called Longevity Formula. And it's multiple components, up to 6 to 8 components, ingredients, all in one tablet, in one capsule. Very easy, very conducive, convenient for intake. You don't have to think that, oh, this supplement is running out of stock, you know, or this is gonna finish, or I forgot to take this or that. All in one, just all in one tablet.
It's like a multivitamin. Instead of popping so many, you just pop.
There are no vitamins there. It's not a vitamin. It's micronutrients. It's a specific supplements, specific compounds. Everything is absolutely natural.
Nice.
Nothing synthetic, nothing banned. It's absolutely legit, approved compounds that are mixed together in a specific ratio. The performance supplement is mostly recommended to take either before or after workout. It doesn't matter if you're doing a heavy workout or just a cardio, or just you're doing Pilates, you know, whatever, Taebo, you know, some yoga kind of stuff, you know. But it will give you additional energy, strength, and endurance to perform the exercise. One. Secondly, it will help you to recover faster.
That's very
and to feel not so tired, not so you know, exhausted. And it also, in a way, will help to promote thermogenesis, you know, and also burn a bit more fat specifically. Yeah, it's not much into the muscle building, because if you want to do the muscle building, there are other modalities, you know, but if you want to achieve a very effective workout and feel absolutely great and being able to recover fast after that, it's just absolutely suitable. And the way, you know, it's our approach to everything, you know, we try to hit more than one target in one goal at the same time. Yeah, so this supplement has also got health benefits overall for health and longevity, for sugar control, increased sensitivity towards insulin. It'll bring down your sugar level. It will also increase the readiness and the capacity of the cardiovascular system, you know. And the longevity range of supplements, although they are mostly targeting the longevity genes and targeting overall health and all, but they also have like a secondary benefit, which is generally increasing your energy level and also improving and enhancing your performance. Whether it's a physical performance or just a general feel of the well-being, so that you're not so tired, you're not so exhausted during the daytime, you don't feel like you want to collapse after lunch, and then second half of the day you just can't work, you know, because you have a foggy mind. It improves your cognitive function as well. You know, and absolutely suitable for both genders. Men, women can use that. There is no limitations. It is suitable for all ages, whether you're young or old, even for teenagers. You know, so I go, when I was formulating those supplements, I tried to be as much inclusive as possible. The review or the explanation, the first video we have done already, and then I believe that perhaps next week I will do the video for the longevity. I'm writing the script now, you know, so that's all coming. Yes,
amazing. Yeah.
2 videos explaining the function of the supplements. And another news that we have, and perhaps guys, of course, you know it, and for those who doesn't know it, please go on our social media, European Wellness Academy, you know, and see the videos about the liposomal supplements. Yeah, that's another great thing.
Natural,
Swiss Natural. Yes, the Swiss Natural range.
Nice.
There's something for patients, for people with
bladder issues.
Or patients, people with individuals with a metabolic syndrome. There are supplements that so-called the IRS. You know, it reduces the inflammatory response syndrome. You know, because chronic inflammation is a part of the aging. You know, and it's something.
Any part actually.
Oh, absolutely, from your joints to your blood vessels and all your brain. Yes. The chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the pillars of aging, you know, so that particular formulation will target that specifically, reduce the chronic low-grade systemic inflammation, which drives our heart disease, our chronic liver disease, neurodegeneration, dementia, and so on and so forth, you know. Absolutely, 100% phyto, it's herbal, 100%. It's absolutely clean, pure formulation. No banned substances all over the world. Every ingredient has evidence behind it. Every ingredient is supported by actual clinical trials, by actual data, scientific, medical, clinical data, showing its benefits in overall longevity and health maintenance, but also specific benefits for different conditions. And when you put those ingredients, like 4, 5, 6 ingredients, in a liposomal form, you know, so the liposome, it's a tiny vesicle that the membrane of it is somewhat similar to the membranes of our cells, you know, to our cell membranes. It is a highly absorbable, and it can be absorbed in the gastrointestinal tract or even in the sublingual mucosa very fast without being destroyed by digestive enzymes, super high bioavailability. Very easy to consume also because it's liquid. You can just mix it with water and drink, then it will bypass the stomach and the gastric acidity, and it will be absorbed in the intestine, or it will be absorbed in the oral cavity.
Perfect. So faster. You don't waste it, you know? Because a lot of times, right, when people supplement, I think the challenge is they take, because again, with no proper guidance, you might end up taking more than what is the required dosage, and then you might end up, you know, number one, good case scenario is it passes out of your body, no damage. Worst case scenario is like if it's powder based and all that, it stays a little bit longer in your system, you know, and then you might have some issues with your kidneys, I think, moving forward as your main filter.
Well, not only the kidneys, well, with the liver as well, you know, because there's the first bypass system, you know, especially why the sublingual supplementation is so great is that it's sort of directly into the systemic circulation. It bypasses that particular metabolic pathway in the liver where via the portal system. It would have been absorbed from the intestinal tract. It has to go to the liver. If you apply something sublingually, it's directly into the systemic circulation. So the bioavailability is even higher, and the effect is faster. You have less wastage of the product.
And that's great, because not only do you save money, but you also get faster results because your body absorbs it faster rather than taking
right. Of course, it's just a more optimal way of supplementation, supplementing yourself.
Yeah, and we want to be efficient right in our lives because there's so many things we want to achieve, so many places we want to go, and most importantly, our goals. We want to get them faster. End of the day, right? Rather than saying, okay, I could have done this in 5 years, but I think, I took 10 years instead. Because that depends from which point you're gonna look at it. Because one thing, right? Of course, we want to get it as fast as possible, but to me, it is very important that the results are sustainable. Once you get it and you maintain.
Once you get it, you maintain it. Because if you go too drastic into some changes, there are high chances that it can just bounce back, that the rebound effect might still be there. When you go gradually into that and you stick to the process, to the program, there's more chances that, and then you gradually adapt to that. As I said, I was, last week I told myself that, fine, I'm not gonna get off the diet. And even though this week I'm taking rest, there's no physical exercise until just 1 week, so tomorrow back on that, but the diet is still on, and I don't feel the necessity to cheat. I've absolutely have no craving for sweets, and all that stuff. Of course, I'm not in a caloric deficit anymore. I just back to the normal maintenance. So that I don't suffer, I don't feel hungry, but I don't binge also.
Yeah, and that's, again, self-discipline that was inculcated in your preparation to achieving your goal, right? And then the keyword I really like that, for us to take away today is consistency and sustainable results. Because a lot of times people want fast, they do crash diets, some of them might even resort to some unorthodox way of weight loss, maybe not proven or tested, and then the results come back quite badly. So in European wellness retreats, in European wellness centers, the goal is all about safety, I believe. It's about safety, diagnosing correctly, so the diagnostic tools are aplenty, and then there's a program that's created for you, that once you start, they work with you pretty much like a personal trainer, but in this case, with a full team behind you, not just one individual, but a team. And also, like you brilliantly mentioned as well, with the right supplements that are tailored, and these are pretty much something that you don't really just get off the shelf. You can't like walk into a pharmacy and say, hey, I want A, B, C, D, E. So again, these are pretty much precision, and I think that's what people want. Because especially for those of us who want to invest, and I'm using the word invest in our health, and our wellness, this is what it is. You invest in your children's future, you invest for your retirement. It's very much important that you must invest in your health because your body is your biggest asset. When your body fails,
absolutely right.
No matter how much money you have in the world, it's not going to help. And of course, it will also jeopardize your income earning capacity. If you're always, on a dialysis machine, or you're always in and out of ICU, heaven forbid, or you're just generally lethargic, just no energy, lots of brain fog. That already, impacts a lot of things in your life and also in your career progression, right? So I think the wonderful take home from this is, new supplements are coming out, but again, the supplements are just part of the process.
It's part of the process.
What we want is the whole system. Yes. And this can be gotten at the European Wellness Retreats, right? And
yes,
European Wellness
absolutely
centers.
Right. There's a nutritionist there, which at all points, and you gotta understand that it's not that you will design a diet, you print out that sheet of paper and paste it on the wall or maybe on the fridge, with a fridge magnet, and you're just gonna follow that diet all your life. No, it's a dynamic process. As your body changes, as you go through the body recomposition, you will change your diet as well. It's a regular blood work and not just the full blood count or the fasting lipid profiles. There's a list of parameters which will sort of show you the status, the condition of main systems of your metabolism, but also your hormonal profile, and also a number of anti-aging or biomarkers of aging, put it this way. Okay, you gotta monitor those as well. Make sure everything is in check, and then I'm absolutely not in favor, and I never ever promoted say you take this supplement A or supplement B and just eat it for the rest of your life. No, it's not that way. It has to be absolutely personalized, individualized. What your body or your mind, perhaps, you know, or your cognitive function and all needs at this specific period, you just use that supplement in this specific period
to get that particular objective, and then you have the next objective.
Yes, yes. You don't have to take all of the stuff all of your life. You know, or all of the stuff one shot, you know, some stuff during your entire life. You know, just counterproductive. Okay, and it's not optimal. So you do what is necessary, you do what is needed. Preferably, you do the necessary minimum, so that you don't do or you don't overdo things, and then you don't waste money and you don't waste time, and the less you do, also the less adverse effects. You know, so safety, as you mentioned, is absolutely important. And then, of course, there's a number of other modalities that might help you at a specific point, such as the heat shock proteins, you know, the systemic hypothermia, whether it's the infrared, you know, or the systemic hypothermia machine. It's hyperbaric oxygenation, you know, and there's a number of other treatment therapeutic modalities, so just the wellness modalities. Yes, that sometimes they will help you to fix those little tiny predicaments, you know, small problems that you have, big or small, you know.
To some people, a small thing grows up big because it causes
exactly, because
sleep and all
exactly. So there are other tools from the wellness arsenal, you know, that will ease that that process, you know, and when you slot them in correctly in the right time, you know, and it makes the entire journey pleasurable.
Correct.
You know, because it's very important that you enjoy it. You should enjoy.
Shouldn't be like a chore.
Absolutely, you should not suffer. Well, you might suffer a bit if there is a particular goal, you know. And
no pain, no gain.
And frankly speaking, it's not necessarily has to be a bodybuilding competition. Right? It can be a photo shoot, for instance. It can be some kind of event.
You just want to look good at that point.
We have clients who are planning to get married.
And they go overseas for photo shoots, right? And they say, I want to look good in my dress or my top.
And they want to look great on the wedding, but they just want to look better and feel better when they transition from the bachelor's life, you know, towards married life, you know, and family life. And it's absolutely fine. We all want that, isn't it? So different people have got different goals. In Western world, people even prepare for the summer holidays. You know, I want to look better
on the beach.
In
my bikini or in my speedos.
Right. But here in tropical countries in Southeast Asia, it's summer 365, you know, all year round. So more the reason to look great and look good, you know, all year round.
Correct. Sounds great. So we're very excited about it, and I think the best way to start first is to, of course, start by making an appointment for a consultation at your nearest European Wellness Center or European Wellness Retreat, you know, and then you'll be guided through the process, linked up with the medical team, you know, you get to even come for a tour to look at some of, you know, the devices that will be used to help you achieve your personal goals, right? It starts off with the first step, which is reaching out and saying, hey guys, you know, I want to do something, you know, on myself. On myself and for myself. This is my goal, all right? What do you suggest we do? Where do we get started? That is the first step. You know, Confucius has a saying, right? The journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. So if you don't even take the first step of even saying, what do I want to change in my life? Then the next question is, where can I go to help me get this change? We're not going to move anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it has to start off first with wanting something, 2, getting the team that can help you get there, and then 3, doing the work. You know, you can't just say, okay, so I've got the team now, and I'm just going to sit back and then they're going to do everything for me. Now, the team can guide you through the process, but lifestyle modification, you know, how you even change things like how much water intake or even your sleep routines, all of these things makes a very, very big difference in maintaining, like you mentioned, the 2 key points, which is performance and also longevity in the long term.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And I just want to add one thing is that you mentioned that the third point is do the work.
Yeah.
Some people might think that, ooh, this is a bit dodgy or scary, you know, I still have to do the work, you know, so that is the tough part, you know, the scary part is in there. Now, absolutely, it's not like that. My personal, very strong belief, and it's like a meme, right? There's a new word, this meme, you know.
Okay.
The journey is the reward. Okay, it has to be an absolutely pleasurable journey because you will get that constant reward every second when you look at yourself.
And you feel good inside.
When you feel good inside. Every second when you address to yourself like, am I getting better? How do I feel now compared to how I felt yesterday or last week? Or when you look at yourself in the mirror, or when you step on the weighing scales, you know, or when you wear your clothes every morning, you get ready to go to the office, you know, to your work, you know, and you're like, yeah, my mind is brighter, my body is more fit. I like what I see.
Yeah.
You know, I enjoy what I feel, I enjoy myself. That is the most important thing in your life. Okay? It's something that, I mean, we all gotta love ourselves.
Okay.
Okay, and we all have rights to love ourselves. So, being on the journey of self-transformation does not have to be suffer.
Yeah, like extracting teeth.
It can be an absolutely pleasurable journey full of joy and happiness, and that's what European wellness is all about, and that's what I'm promoting, and that's what I'm trying to preach, what I'm preaching, and that's what I'm practicing and trying to show to everyone that it is possible. Nothing is impossible. If you think that only a teenager or a 20-year-old guy can achieve something, no, it's not like that. You can do it when you're 40, but I tell you what, our patients, our clients, we have those who are in their late 50s or in their 60s, and they achieve similar goals. Okay, perhaps they're not stepping on the bodybuilding stage, they're not performing in the men's physique, but they have 14, 15, 16 kilogram of weight reduction.
It's already
the
good.
Blood sugar level drops from diabetic to being absolutely normal, and people restore their sexual life, people restore their family life, people restore their career in a way, you know, because I mean, you've entered your 60s, but it's like 10 years, 15, 20 years old, you know, and you have more energy, more power, you know, your biological age is less, so you can just drive, man, incredibly. And both men and women can do that. Nothing is impossible. All that you have to do is just envision it and start the journey and just stay on the track, because you have the right team who's gonna
guide you through it.
Guide you
and have fun with you through the process.
Absolutely. Stay healthy, be alive, have fun.
All right. Stay tuned for the next session. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.
Thank you. See you.